Hello and welcome to Creative Sparkle. My name's Holly and today we're doing an art journal prompt list. So grab your art supplies and let's get crafting. Hello, thank you for joining me today. So as you can see, we're working in a book that's not recycled, so we don't need to prime. Although if you do need to prime, feel free to do so. The first prompt is to use book pages to make a background base. So I've chosen this mathematics tables book because it's all numbers in there. I actually bought this book intentionally just for my crafting. So I'm just going to tear pieces and stick them down with just a normal glue stick. Don't feel like you need to follow what it is that I'm doing. You could leave bigger spaces in between, you can overlap everything or have them going in different directions to what I'm doing, and use whatever you have in your stash that's available to you. And once we've finished with that step, we'll move on to prompt number 2, which is to use a primer and wash over the background. So I've chosen to prime with my clear gesso rather than white gesso on this occasion. But if you want to use white gesso, that's fine. You can just water it down so you can still see the book pages through. And I've chosen to go with the clear gesso because I wanted to see the book pages very well. So once we've primed, we'll move on to prompt number 3, which is to use a sponge to add colour to your background. So I've chosen to go with this acrylic paint, which is in the colour chocolate, and I'm using a sponge dabber to dab the colour just here and there. And I'm going to do, it's almost like a slight border, and I'm just dabbing it onto the page, as you can see, in 2 of the corners, and then I'll do a bit over the centre as well. So moving on to prompt number 4, we're going to add white to the background. I have chosen a white acrylic paint to just add with my fingers, so I'm just going to rub that onto the background. If you want to use white gesso, you can do that, or you can add some white in a different way. You could add some glitter or even just draw something with white pen. As you can see, I'm going back in with the brown. I think I wasn't very happy with how it went. I'm redoing that step and then I'll add a bit more white afterwards as well. But once we're happy with that step, we'll move on to prompt number 5, which is to use a book or magazine page and arrange most of it to leave a title or sentence. So it can be random words over the page. I have chosen part of a sentence that I'm going to leave available, and also you can use a larger piece of a page as well. Don't feel like you need to crop it as much as I have. So I'm just going to make this more cohesive with my page by distressing it with some vintage photo, and then I'm going to use a sponge just to add paint around the words with the same chocolate paint I used for the background. So I'll leave that, tell a friend you have a magic way. That's going to be the sentence that I'm leaving revealed for the prompt. And once I'm happy with that, I'm going to go in again just with some walnut stain ink and just edge that piece so it stands out a little more. And then I'll add it to the page with some Mod Podge. So once we're happy with that step, we'll move on to prompt number 6, which is to choose a focal image to suit your page. So the focal image I've chosen is from a paper pack, the ones you can see here. And I'm just going to cut this book out with the photo sticking out around the edges. And once I've finished cutting that out, I'm just going to take an ink, again the Distress ink that I already had on the dabber that I'm using, the blending tool, and I'm just going to go around the edges with the ink that's already on there. So I'm sticking the focal image in the centre of the page, and I'm just going to stick it down with some Mod Podge. Use what you have available to you, and don't feel like you need to place it in the centre like I have. If you have a different type of focal image that suits better off to one side, then just go with what your page is telling you. So the next step is prompt number 7, which is to add flying creatures to your page. So I've decided to go with the same paper pack that I was using before, and as you can see, these butterflies is what I've chosen to have on my page. So I'm just going to stick those down again with Mod Podge. Your flying creatures don't need to be real if you don't have them like I do. I just decided butterflies went quite well with what I was working with, and because they're in the same paper pack, they are more cohesive. So once we finish adding our flying creatures, we'll move on to prompt number 8, which is to choose one word and create a title. So I've gone through my stash and found these rub-ons, and I'm going to use this to add a word for my title, and I've decided to add my title over the top of my focal image. And so the word, once I've finished rubbing it on, is going to be magical, because I thought it related quite well to that little bit of text from the book that we added earlier. For the next step, which is prompt number 9, we're going to add 3D stickers to the page to add interest. So I found these 3D stickers, which are dragonflies, and I thought with the colours, the ones that I've chosen go quite well, and I've added 3 of those. And then I also found some more butterflies, which are also 3D, and I'm going to add a few of those as well. Just off subject, I do apologise for the black mark that's coming at the top right hand side. That is a lamp that I've managed to knock, and so it won't be there throughout the rest of the video, but I just apologise for that. So the 10th and final prompt is to add shadows and or a subtle border to finish. So I have these aquatic pencils, crayons that are like watercolour pencils, and I'm just adding shadows around the focal image and those first butterflies as the winged creatures that we added, and I'm just adding them around those and the book page segment as well. And then I'm also going to just add a little of darker brown on the borders that you can see in the corners as well, just because I think it brings the page together quite well. So as you can see, I have gone around the focal image already, but I will go around that with a darker colour again, because I just thought those 2 corners would bring it together with a dark colour in the middle. But I will put the full prompt list at the end of the video, along with photos of the finished product. If you did enjoy today's video, please do give it a thumbs up, and any questions you have can be left in the comments down below. If you do decide to take part in the prompts list, please do tag me on Instagram with the hashtag #SparklePrompts, and I will see you next time, where we will turn your creative spark into creative sparkle. Thanks.